So, glad to have you, and if I say anything wrong, you stop me, okay? He had a very distinguished career. During his 35 years of active breeding, he or his staff developed over 300 hybrids. I've already talked about 3A and DK203. We'll touch on DK404 in just a moment, 404A. He worked from 1917 to 1953. When he retired in 1953, people from all over the United States wrote letters of congratulation for everything that he had done, because he had done a lot. One of the things that was significant, and I'll bounce back over here to 404A, he developed and released a hybrid 404A in 1939. That hybrid was so adapted farther north than any other hybrid at that time that it extended the Corn Belt 200 miles farther north. It caught on almost immediately. The life of that hybrid was 25 years. There were 7 years it exceeded 300,000 units in sales, and 2 years it exceeded 500,000 units in sales. It was a 5.5 million bag hybrid. And that wasn't 80,000 kernel bags. Those were the big bags. So it was extremely significant. It changed the way corn was grown. Very, very significant. He actually stayed working in the nurseries until about 1971. From 53 to 71, he had a vision that one way to increase yields was by getting plants that were multiple ear. So he worked on prolificacy for quite a while. And he finally did retire from the field in 71 and passed away in 1980. A couple of things about him. This is when he started work in 17, traveling the U.S. on vacation, and then various photographs of him working. There's something I want to point out that he felt very strongly about. A corn breeder is not comfortable unless he's got some corn in his hands. Every photograph that you see of him, he generally has corn or an ear in his hands. And his focus is not on the people, it's on the corn. His legacy for DeKalb was a humble beginning to a global industry. I think he'd really be proud to see what's going on today and really be appreciative that he was a part of it. These books right here are from 1924 to about 1935. These are his actual field books that we were able, with Monsanto's permission and the contacts here, to put in the history portion of the NIU, and you can go in and study them and view them. The progress continues. Up to 2009, 165.2 bushels the acre is the average. You look down in here when Mr. Gunn was doing his work, it might not look that impressive, but if you were stuck there for 60 years, you would think that was unbelievable. And it continues to be unbelievable. That is a very abbreviated overview of early corn breeding, DeKalb, and Mr. Gunn. I hope you enjoyed it.
We want to open for questions and corrections. He mentioned that 404A had a life of 25 years. It was developed, I think, in 1940.
Released in 39.
39. I moved to DeKalb in 1984. And one of the first things that crossed my desk was a petition signed by Amish farmers all across the country. They had mailed this thing all across the country, I don't remember how many hundred signatures were on it, but they were asking DeKalb to start producing 404A. For several years after it came off the general market, the company did continue to produce it just for the Amish. And finally dropped it. Questions for Dave?
Yes.
I think you might have failed to mention, or is this true that the county board at the time actually put some money in as well? That is on one of these plaques, I thought.
It could very well be. They're not here, but in the other part, we've got a listing showing all the founders.
The County Board of Supervisors met and pledged $10,000.
Yeah.
So 10,000, how much was the exact amount of starting cash that they had at the beginning?
10,000 a year was committed.
So it was just the county board's funding, or?
Well-
No.
No.
Careful, she's on the
It's-
county board.
Yeah, no, it says local farmers, this is strictly history. Local farmers, bankers, and the DeKalb County Board.
Okay, so that was it in total?
Yeah, that was it in total.
Okay, good to know. All
That's
right.
when stimulus money was $5.
Yeah. What would it be in today's dollars? Do you have any sort of ability to figure out what that would have been in today's dollars?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
it probably would have been 80, 90,000. I mean, that's,
I think you're low.
Okay.
that kind of response.
It'd be on the order of 150.
It was significant at the time.
That's what I thought.
Al?
When the DeKalb County Solar Improvement Association was organized, the bankers were put up 2,000, the farmers 2,000, and the news people 2,000, because the bankers would help, they knew it would help the economy. The newspaper knew this would be a good ad story, and the farmers knew that it would be good for farmers in the future. But they shot for $10,000. They went over to see Mr. Elwood between Christmas and New Year's and said, how will we raise this money? And Elwood said, you go out and ask other farmers. So they set up every township, 19 townships in DeKalb County, formed a committee, and just about every township raised, their goal was $200 a township. And they didn't quite make the 10,000 right at first, but it was enough to get Eckhart up here. But they asked the Board of Supervisors, could you kick in a little bit? And the county board says, well, 2,000, but he'll have to manage the county farm.
Oh.
That's the county farm. It was founded in 1853 out on Sycamore Road. And guess what? When Eckhart, the first day he came here, he stuck some soybeans in his pocket on May 1st, 1912. He came here June 1st, and he planted soybeans. He rode the trolley out of DeKalb to get there. And it was the supervisors, then they would make a little bit every year because the program was starting to be successful, and everybody was a winner. No losers. But they had a heck of a time raising that money by subscription. It's just like going out to get the donations today.
Thanks, Al. Nice.
And as far as Dunn's first salary, I have a contract he gave me before he died. He got $100 from the DeKalb County Soil Improvement Association, and the USDA was putting in another 100. So he was getting $200, which he thought that was a lot of money in 1917. It was.
Any other questions? Don't be bashful. Folks, you're welcome to hang around. We'll try to get some of the chairs up out of the way. We appreciate you coming, and we appreciate your support. And don't forget, we'll be back in 2 weeks with another program. Thank you, folks.